Yo, what up?
What's up, Cannon? What's going on with you?
Hey, we chilling. Ready to go live on YouTube. You can hear me good?
Yeah, you good.
You hear me good?
Yup.
All right.
Yes, I thought you was going live yesterday. I was looking, but I see you wasn't
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I had some mad stuff to take care of, actually, to be
I get
honest.
it. Stu Vision.
Hey, Stu, look. Hopefully you're not on a good sauce this time, because we going to need some structure to this thing.
No,
This
he
is, you know what I mean?
I'm chilling.
He
I'm chilling today.
detoxed off the Ohio River. He detoxed.
There you go.
Nah, I'm chilling today.
What's up, though?
I'm good. What's good with you, K?
Ain't nothing, man. Chilling.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, man. I've been peeping that. I don't know if I like what happened with the whole Denard Wilson situation.
Oh, you just seen the jar just uploaded?
Yeah. I don't know if I like the situation. It look a little shaky to me already.
Hey, man, I told you I was on the phone with the wise man.
Yo, look a little, because no, they were saying something about it earlier today. On Jacob Sportsman on Sports Talk this afternoon with Barrett Brooks and them, Barrett Brooks, D Gun and them. And I was listening to it then, and I was like, hold on, something sound a little fishy right there. He was actually one of the, I think Chris Hayes was actually on the show.
Okay.
He ended up coming on?
Talking about. He said it. Well, from what he heard, him and Sirianni got into a little heated little argument, and it went down. Like I heard, Denard Wilson said he was good with wanting to stay here and work under Desai, and it wasn't going to be no beef.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that they had that little meeting on Saturday. They was off doing their little 1-2, you know, and Sirianni started picking his brain or whatever, and he came back with the Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think it's because Denard Wilson, he's the type of DB coach where he likes his guys more aggressive, more up on the line, being press guys and this, that, and the third. And what Sirianni wanted defensively is basically what Gannon was doing. Every now and then you up there, but most of the time you off coverage. You know what I'm saying, keeping everything in front of you. And I'm still of the mindset of, yo, in order for your secondary to work the way you want it to, you got to have that pressure up front. And in order for that pressure up front to get there, your secondary got to be up there getting hands on these receivers, knocking off their timing and whatever, man.
I think now that, you know, people talking, a lot of shit getting ready to come out that was in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, the greatest disinfectant is sunlight, boy. It's about to bring everything out there.
Yes, sir. But you know,
I'm back, right? I'm back.
Yes, sir.
I was about to say where the hell Mike go.
Yeah, look, it kicked me off right before we went live. So we are live on YouTube. Real quick, shout out to everybody who's watching on YouTube. Hit that like button, subscribe if you are new. Again, it's the JJAANN app Hangout. We do this every Sunday at 7, but Philly Mike was busy yesterday, so it's a Monday at 7 o'clock edition. We got some things to talk about. Shout out to everybody. And again, if you want to join the conversation, all you got to do is click the link pinned at the top of the live chat. Use the promo code that is provided in the pinned comment and come through. It's easier if you have your camera on so we can see you. But hey, shout out to everybody. Uptown, are you good? Sam, Liner Wine, you got your mic muted just in case. And Fly Eagle 17, what's up with you?
What's going on?
What up,
Dev 10, you good with your mic muted? You good? Don't be crashing on me. Don't be crashing on me. You know what I mean?
I'm good, man.
Got played safe. I see you got your seatbelt on, but yeah, let's start with the whole Denard Wilson thing because you know, it was reported yesterday that it was a mutual parting of ways, and now we heard Marcus Haynes, who, you know, he doesn't hold any punches for sure, but he doesn't report dumb stuff for no reason. They say there was more of a falling out between Sirianni and Denard Wilson. I don't understand why, in the sense of like Was it Sirianni who was upset with something? Because if Denard Wilson was literally mad about not getting his job, right? Being, the front runner for DC and then not getting it, wouldn't you think that he would have made a stink early in his time? Early? I mean, Sean Desai has been now named to DC now for what, 5-6 days? And we're hearing about the mutual parting just yesterday. So I think what do you guys think is going on behind the scenes?
I think it's some bullshit. You know what I mean? Honestly, but I mean, like I said, he said he was cool with not getting the position, but he wanted to stay here. This is what he said. He wanted to stay here. He ain't had no problem working with Sean Desai. But like I said, during that meeting, we don't know what was said, but maybe, like I said, maybe Sirianni just wanted to get away from anything that was attached to gaming. I mean, I'm looking at it from that aspect. Just to, think on the positive side, you know what I'm saying? And not just fall into the negative. You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. Maybe he just wanted to just be detached all the way from anything that was attached again. Or maybe, like I said, he was probably giving him vibes of maybe we're gonna have the same old thing that we was already, you know what I'm saying, used to, and we trying to go in a whole nother direction. So maybe it could have been that too. I don't know. But
Yeah,
that's how
I
I'm
think
looking
I
at it.
just put
Just stay positive.
I think I just put one and one together and added up three for a second. Because if you think about it, y'all, Gannon didn't even get a chance to do a press conference after the Super Bowl. Howie flat out told him, "Hey, you stay here. You interviewing for the job here in Arizona." So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it could have been that with Sirianni that he wanted to get rid of that whole thing with Gannon, or it could have been just how we saying, nah, that dude defense didn't show up and lost the Super Bowl. I'm gonna cut ties with everything that is Gannon. So it could have been a
Hey,
roasting thing
Stu,
too.
I
but they
agree. I
saying,
agree with that, honestly.
hey, but Stu, they saying that this was strictly Sirianni. That this ain't got nothing to do with Howie or Lori. That Sirianni said, no, you
But it
got to
could have
go.
just been Sirianni though. It could
Hey,
have just
Mike.
been Sirianni that felt that way. But he
Right,
didn't took us from 2-5 to 8-9-0. So it's like he got that type of pull right now. Like he can tell them like,
Yeah.
yo, we ain't doing this.
I,
We about to redo this whole defense. And Denard Wilson probably just didn't agree with the ways that they want to move forward, the players they want to move forward with, certain stuff like that. So,
right.
he probably didn't agree with certain things like that, and they probably got a little argument and had some words or
Does
whatever.
this have to do anything with CJ Gardner Johnson? Y'all feel like?
I
We'll
won't
we'll
say.
know
Hold on.
we'll
I,
know
I
in
won't.
24 hours.
Yeah, we'll know in 24 hours. Now, look, again, if we don't franchise tag him, that doesn't mean he's off the squad. He's just now an
Yeah.
unrestricted free agent and has the
Right.
opportunity to talk to 31 other teams. However, to y'all point about Nick Sirianni, again, thinking about it now, hearing y'all talk, it could have been something along the lines of, he was upset that he got passed over for DC, but he said, you know what, I love the players love me. I'm going to keep earning my stripes. And then as Sean Desai is trying to put his strategy in it, maybe from Nick Sirianni's point of view, he kind of saw the possibility of Denard Wilson butting heads with Sean Desai, who was a safety, right? Like he calls the game from a secondary mindset, just like how Jonathan Gannon did. Not saying they're the same, but maybe that is along the lines what happened. I don't really see Nick. He looked like too nice of a guy to be really getting in an argument with one of his guys. So it's
Nick
weird.
don't fool
That's what I
fool
ain't
me.
get that vibe either. That's what I
Nick
said.
don't
I was
fool
like,
me, bro. I
I
ain't
yo,
ain't
I'm
gonna
see
lie.
about to
him.
Yeah, for
say,
real.
Just
Right.
like
That's
don't
what
let that nice
Howie
guy
don't
look
fool me.
fool you.
Howie don't fool me.
How you feeling, Brandon? Brandon, how you feeling on the situation with Denard?
Man, I'm kind of just like you guys said, man. I'm agreeing with you guys, man. Like I honestly just caught up. I'm trying to catch up to you guys. What you guys are talking about is hopped on, but honestly, overall, I'm just gonna have to believe in Nick Sirianni on this one, man.
right.
Shit. He got us to the Super Bowl, and when you go to the Super Bowl, things change no matter if you win or lose the next
Right.
year. So
Yeah.
you go one direction and another direction. At least he knows what direction he wants to go and who he wants to deal with. So
Right.
And real quick to back off of that, I feel like that, like we've talked about it like a mother, you know what I mean? But the fact that he gave up play calling, it give him the eagle eye to step back and look at all of this and see all of this.
exactly.
Right.
He's not worried about, oh, my play calling was this or my this, that. He can look at the whole, the whole field and just be like, okay, well, we can go ahead and hire Brian Johnson because this works here. This here works. Now on the defensive side, he's trying to look at what's going on. But like I said, when he gave up play calling, they gave him a way better feel for everything that's going on in the whole organization. I feel like he's probably closer to Howie and Lurie than any other head coach ever, even Andy Reid, because I feel like they all just bond in a certain way that they can come together with a group decision that works for the team. You know what I mean? Like, it's no coincidence that our draft pick's been working since we got Nick. You know what I mean? Like Nick knows football. He knows that
true.
aspect. Our draft pick ever since. You know what I mean? It's no coincidence that he's been in that circle with them. You know what I mean? Like he's had to been in that circle with them talking about it.
But do you think it's more along the lines of, Nick is grateful for Howie for giving him his shot as an unknown type coach? The same with Dougie P. And again, we didn't hear the quarrels of Howie Roseman and Dougie P until Dougie won that Super Bowl. And he's now, you feel different about yourself as a head coach or as just a person in the game of football once you got a bigger resume to stand on. And again, there's always been, the chatter of Nick Sirianni being somewhat of a yes man to Howie. I never been a fond believer in that. I think that Howie definitely makes some decisions because Howie is who he is. If he's a boss, if we gonna be fleecing other GMs, you ain't talking sideways to Howie Roseman, regardless, But I do think Howie does trust Nick to do football operations just because Nick is that football guy. He might not be the best speaker, but when push come to shove, he's gonna put everything into the game plan and be a guy who the locker room likes.
But see, to that point too, and to my point, I think honestly that how Nick talks about the players and talks about us like getting together and I think he brought that to the whole organization. I don't think it's that he's a yes man to Howie. I think that him and Howie have got a relationship to where Howie trusts his word. You know what I mean? Lurie trusts his word because they closer together. The same way they be talking about, like, oh well, if you love the person next to you, you're gonna go to bat for him. It's like it's the same in that front office right now. That's the reason why I say he might have a better relationship than Andy did because he brought a whole nother perspective to us completely. You know what I mean? Like it shows, like everything is showing. The flowers grew. You know what I mean? Like
hey. And plus being a coach where everybody say, oh, you ain't getting no Super Bowl with no running quarterback like that. Yeah, Cam Newton did it, but did Cam Newton even come close to winning it? No, he did not. Jalen went out there in that Super Bowl, and he was the best player on the field, and that includes Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So with Nick Sirianni being able to do that in just 2 years, I think that gives him a little bit more clout than Andy would have had, and it would have get. And on top of that, if you really look at it, when Doug did it in 2 years, both of his quarterbacks were considered pocket passers. They weren't mobile running quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah, Carson Wentz could scramble and make nice plays with his legs, but he was still considered a pocket passing quarterback. He wasn't that scramble. Jalen Hurts was labeled a running quarterback.
And that was called a magical run. That was called a magical run. Like everything came together for us to win that. This year we really just dominated. After 2 years, we just dominated the league. It wasn't a magical run.
This is what let me know that it was a lot of Jalen Hurts that they have so much trust and belief in Jalen Hurts. Think about the decisions, how many times they decided on 4th down. No matter, you got to think about it. In that Giants game, 4th and 6. 4th and 6. I'm talking about the week 14 one. 4th and 6. You throw a lob off an inside fade route to Smitty, and he catch that in between 2 defenders. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
You got to have trust in your quarterback, and you have to believe that he's going to make the right decision and the right throw, or make the right read and run with the ball in order to make that call. Look at how many times he did that all last season.
He said it all season. He said, I trust him.
Yeah, he did say that.
He emphasized it. He said,
training camp.
He said it before the season started.
Training camp.
Decisions that he's going to make. We've seen the growth over just what he did in all. He said during training camp, we see the growth and progression he's made. The ball's coming out with more velocity, more spin on it. It's more accurate. He's tighter.
I remember that.
Ball. They were saying that all through training camp before the season started. So when you see that he was giving that up to him before the season started, that's why I kind of looked at the season. I started to look at the season differently when you got all of your entire coaching staff, not just your head coach. You got
they were
your
all
OC,
behind him.
all of them behind him. And all the players were sitting there saying how much they believed
said
him.
it last year. We just didn't believe him. We thought he has a trick up his sleeve.
Yeah.
He said it last year though.
Yeah, real quick,
But you
C.
really got to look at it. But if you really watch Jalen Hurts from the beginning when he started at Alabama, think about his trajectory then. Everybody, he wasn't that good.
Better every single year of his.
Every single time he got better.
For real.
Think about it. Every year at Alabama he got better, and then he went to Oklahoma and got even better. All that time, he never had the same coordinator. It was always a different coordinator, different play caller. First year under Sirianni, okay, you started to see some flashes, but you had to have in your mind, hold on, he about to have the same play caller and the same head coach and everything for the second year in a row. And every year, he's always gotten better. So I think that's something that a lot of national media just ignored, and a lot of local media ignored, and just decided, oh, we don't know if he can be that guy. No, if y'all would have paid attention, yeah, you would have known he could be that guy.
Yeah, but look, again, we all know his work ethic is bar none one of the best for a young player, let alone any player in the NFL. And so, if there is a ceiling that could be reached, which he hasn't got to, he's the type of player that gets to it. Cool C, if you do want to chime in on the conversation, you just got to unmute your mic. I'm not sure what's going on over there. But yeah, so as it pertains to Denard Wilson, we wish him luck. You know what I mean? But once you off the Eagle squad, we gonna stop talking about you after a little bit. You know what I mean? Because we got to get down to business. But let me ask y'all real quick, because CJ Gardner-Johnson is still like the main topic, and thus far in this offseason early, it's been reported multiple times he's the Eagles' top priority here, there. Everything that's been said, and it hasn't been any movement towards him. And the only thing you could really do at this point is give him the tag. Again, the tag will know for sure. I want to get y'all take on it, because in less than 24 hours, you can't tag him no more. Do you think Howie's not going to tag him because he's confident? Maybe they had a conversation behind closed doors on that 5-year deal, blah, 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 blah money?
I think he had a conversation.
That's the only reason we wouldn't see the tag, is because the deal is already in the bag. That's the only reason.
He had the deal. He had the deal on the table when he got him.
Yeah, the only other, for sure.
But guess what, Dev? Whatever that deal was when he got him, it definitely added some zeros to that, because when he got him, there was potential there.
It's like they say, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yeah, I remember that.
100K. How you feel the same way? You think the deal's done, like a long term?
I ain't gonna say it's done. I'm gonna say that, maybe it was talked about, it was agreed upon, but like my man Stu said, yesterday price ain't today's price, because he balled out, he showed out, so he drew. He got a lot of people that want him there. You know what I mean? That's willing to give him, that's gonna throw numbers at him. So would you like? I understand, we trying to win, right? But you got a set number that you and this person already negotiated on. Now you got 31 other teams, they offering you more money. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what the numbers is or what the deal is. So
like a betting war.
Well,
he loves Philly though.
He's a hot commodity right now.
At least 30 other teams is offering, because the Dallas Cowboys ain't offering shit. They ain't got no money.
Listen, but honestly, I think
the Cardinals ain't getting them either.
If he really want to win,
exactly.
I think he's gonna stay here. He's gonna take what we gonna give him. You know what I mean? If he want to win, because we're gonna go back. I don't know if we're gonna go back this season, because we're gonna lose a lot of pieces. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes. I said we're going right back, but now after watching everything, like, I gotta be a little realistic. This might be a rough one. You know what I mean?
Got Derek Carr in the NFC now.
It might be a rough one, but I don't know, man. I think he want to stay here in Philly, man.
He's been saying it.
I think he do too.
I know, but listen, it got a little. Listen, you see when they
stole his car,
I don't know,
man. He got his car stolen while he was here. He might take.
You see when they stole his car, man. He's a little salty about
that.
Hold
on. What's up with Pascal getting robbed too?
That was in Florida.
Pascal got robbed at his crib out Maryland.
Maryland.
Cool.
Okay.
He can't.
It was.
He
You know what I
can't
think?
have no ill will
I
towards
just saw the headline real quick, and I was like, "Come on,
No,
bro."
yeah,
I didn't read it. I didn't
that was
read
out
it.
Maryland. That was at where he live at.
What I think though, honestly, I think that I think Howie's just waiting on a lot of stuff to get together. Like he got to
Yeah,
do.
no doubt.
He has to restructure Darius Slay. He got to restructure Lane. He got to you know what I mean. He got to get Jalen contract together and CJ together. And it's like I think he's just waiting and seeing what he's at, getting his plan together. Really, you know what I mean. Like I really think that a lot of those is already done.
But see, that's what I'm
Not to
saying.
cut
Like
you off, Fly Eagle.
now that Wilson gone, they talking about bringing in Matt Patricia.
Thank you. Oh no.
We already know Slay and him don't get along. But
I don't like him. Period.
But I'm saying,
I don't even think that's true.
You gotta be optimistic, man. Like because he might have sucked as a head coach or whatever. It's a whole new organization. He might have learned from that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
he could learn with somebody else.
I got one thing on that though.
I'm bringing
but I'm saying maybe it was a conversation. You know that Sirianni and him had that we don't know about that maybe made the Wilson firing come about. Who knows?
My problem is with Matt Patricia. My problem is with him. He's too much of that Patriot way, and y'all know with that Patriot way, you don't even really look at your coaches. It would change our whole chemistry, our whole culture. So I just don't understand how that would fit with Philly.
That's why I'm saying I wouldn't take not a single coach from the Belichick tree. I'm not doing it.
He might have learned from that.
I hope so.
That's what I'm saying. I hope so too.
Hey, prove to me you learned somewhere else. I'm not taking no way.
Well, I'm saying we ain't hiring yet, but I'm just saying.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing that nothing come from Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I'm kind of under the Fly Eagle 17. I think it was just like I don't even know where the rumor came from. I think it's more of a low key possibility. I don't think it's something that is trending on happening, you know what I mean? But real quick, shout out to Desmond P with the $5 super chat. He's a Giants fan, but he's dropping the $5 super chat. He said, "Hey Eagles fans, how is your offseason going? You guys watch the combine. I'm excited for the draft this coming year." So a respectable Giants fan, to say the least. The combine has been great. I just think every year these guys gets faster and faster and faster.
Crazy.
It's crazy. But there's some talent.
It was some big boys moving the other day. The big boys was moving yesterday.
It's good.
Man.
I've slightly changed my draft.
Sports science, baby.
Sports science.
Them big boys was moving yesterday. I'm looking at some of them big boys run their 40s. I'm like, is this big 300-something pounder supposed to be running the sub 540?
What about that?
No.
That Derrick Henry rumor, man. What's going on with that, man?
Listen, just off GP, Derrick Henry sounds great and all that, but he's still owed $10+ million this year, and he's 29. He's still a beast, and he's still gonna have a couple great seasons, but you saw Zeke went from there to there.
I'm not too sure about that either.
I'm not into that.
I'm not too sure about that either, because a guy like him, you got to think, he been in the league how many years? About what, 6 years now? Look how much he been. Look how many
That's too many good running backs in the draft team. We don't need to go get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't.
And over the last 2 seasons, he got a lot of legs. He got him to get up these last 2 seasons too with knees and ankle injuries and stuff like that. Nah, I'm good.
He has been taking a beating.
They coming in on a rookie contract, man. So we ain't gonna get him for what? No. That's hustling that draft to go get him.
Look, again, and I'm also saying, yes, I'm not gonna say if we could get Derrick Henry for a steal, if we're not giving up heavy draft capital, and he's not gonna do that much damage to the cap. Nobody in their right mind is saying we don't want Derrick Henry behind this offensive line. We are talking in a sense of what do we have to give up how is that going to impact our cap this year and the future going forward? Because there's still a window for this simple reason. We talk about Jalen Hurts' contract and the fact that he's going to get all these big dollars. Well, the big dollars ain't going to hit. The cap is not going to be affected by this contract until in 2023. It will start in 2024, 2025, 2026, where, you know, getting guys like Derrick Henry, where is that going to affect the, you know, and match up with the Hurts contract? So we're not saying Derrick Henry behind this offensive line ain't going to make us, with Jalen Hurts being as diverse and a problem for the linebacking core of the opposing team that he is. Of course we would, but there's so much that we need to do still.
Right.
And again, I think that's why it's hard to really talk about this stuff now, because March 15th, we're going to see where these free agents land. Like by March 20th, we will know certain things. Like we will probably sign at least 2 to 3 guys that we know we really want back. And then we'll see, okay, Bradbury now is in Arizona. BG is in Cleveland, or Fletch is in Cleveland. Like, I'm not saying I want them to do that, but once you start to know how your team is turning out, now you talk about going to get Derrick Henry. Now you talk about Bobby Wagner. Now you talk about a wide receiver or a running back in the free agency. It's kind of hard to do it now because we got our own guys assigned back. A lot of years, the Eagles had maybe 2 or 3 important free agents, and we were like, hey, let's go get A.J. Brown. Let's go get this guy. Let's go get this guy. We got to worry about who is going to come back and who is not before I think anything crazy. But real quick, shout out to Michael Fedler with the $20 super chat. He got the cheers emoji in the background. So, you know, if this was Sunday, I might have been drinking a beer or two. But, you know, Monday, we're going to have to chill a little bit. Cool C, are you still able to talk? Cool C?
Yeah.
So, what's your whole take on?
Hey, fellas. I'm usually Chandra Harvey, on your normal chat, but I mean, I just joined you guys recently. Love your show, Mike. So glad that that I found you, on the YouTube and joined the JJAANN app. But I was just on my way home and I overheard all the stuff on WIP, talking about the DB coach, and so I was just trying to get some more information about exactly what happened. I didn't get a chance to look at your video. My apologies. Like I said, I just came home from work and I'm like, what? Except that I heard all this stuff about the DB line coach, and that something may have gone down between he and Sirianni. So I wanted to try to figure out, exactly, any latest updates about that.
Yeah, and so far, like, there's no like hard statement made. Like the Eagles literally try to talk about it as it's like a mutual parting, but according to Marcus Haynes, I didn't pay to read the whole article, but there's been back and forth about there was some type of argument, and Nick Sirianni, it was more of a firing. On they don't know give what grounds it was on, just maybe more of they didn't see eye to eye. But he was willing to stay. Again, this is me speculating, is that I think between Sean Desai, Nick Sirianni, and the days that just the 4 or 5 days after the hiring of Sean Desai, I think maybe in Nick Sirianni's eyes, he was thinking there's going to be too much of button heads and or some bad blood because he didn't get the DC job. When I think, or it could have even been that, he was such the front runner. Nick Sirianni's like, hey, we got you. And then boom, they didn't. So the Eagles do a good job, at least as of late, keeping the hush stuff that needs to be hush in-house since Nick Sirianni's been there. So I don't think we'll ever get the true story, but since I don't know the true story so far, I'm always gonna have to side with the guy wearing green, and it's Nick Sirianni at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I was a little surprised when I heard it because you're right. I mean, I know how Lori and Howie are, they want to keep stuff in house. So when I heard this, I'm like, what? And so how are the players actually handling this? Because I know that Slade really spoke up for him and, for Denard Wilson. And I also know that, he's very much like the player's coach. So now I'm concerned about the chemistry of the team. And, if this happened, does that mean that CJ wants to leave now? So That was more of my concern, at this point. I'm like, uh-oh, so.
Well, one thing I'll say this before we get Smitty Eagles' opinion on too. Lately, the Eagle players have been going to Twitter and using their Twitter fingers. So I'm glad after the Marcus Haynes things came out, we haven't heard anybody like CJ or Slay or Epps or Avante like, yeah, man, there's some, so they're not broadcasting any bad blood. But my biggest concern is, as you said, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he spoke real high. He talked about Denard
Exactly.
Wilson being the reason he elevated his game to that height. So
Exactly. That's my concern.
And he got a big contract coming up, whether it's the Eagles paying him or somebody else. And we have less than 24 hours to get the tag. So I'm hoping that there's still some good blood between him, Howie Roseman, and CJ. And I think you got to get him. You can't talk about him being your top priority. All the 12 days the off season has been so far for us, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and let him go, because that's like a big time fail. Then if he was your top priority and you couldn't get it done.
Right.
Smitty Eagle, what's up with you?
What's good, man? I'm tuning in, man. Hey, look, man, y'all stop worrying about CJ, man. CJ. That's straight,
come in and give us some good news. Give us some good news. Give us some good news.
Stressing that, bro. Come on, bro. We know Howie, bro. He just waiting, bro. Why make moves when you know what's good? It's fine tuning right now. It's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Howie cut him off. He was like, "Yo, I can't have him speaking for me."
I was agreeing with what he was saying, though. Shoot.
I needed Smitty Eagle to give us that good news.
Yeah, man, some positive energy in the air.
But he know the truth though. We all know Howie already back there behind the scenes doing the calculations necessary. Like literally, everybody knows. Right? Think about this. When CJ Gardner-Johnson got here, we all automatically knew. Okay, secondary set. Because we knew what type of player he was. We all seen how he played when he was with the Saints. We played against him plenty of times when he played with the Saints. We all knew what that was. You think how we gonna bring that guy, young, 20-something years old, to be an impact player like that, and he ain't mapping out the long-term deal or something to do to keep him here?
Look, I have complete faith in Howie. I have complete faith in Howie because Howie is the money man. He knows how to get it done. He works miracles with his money. I have no problem trusting in Howie. I was just a little concerned over what I just saw within the past 24 hours.
We all concerned about it.
That's how they keep us locked in.
Man. That's fake. People just making stuff up to give other people hope, man. That's fake. You can put anything out there just to make it sound good, but have we heard anything that we was trying to do anything other than what we was already doing? The last word we heard was that he was number one priority. That's all we gonna worry about.
That's how I look at it like this. If I'm Howie, this off season, when we looking at the roster, I'm prioritizing two things: that Hurts contract, CJ Gardner-Johnson contract. If y'all really look at it, a lot of our free agents that we got coming up on the defensive side, we got guys behind them. All we got to do is keep replenishing it up with more youth behind with those guys. Everybody kept talking about the core four, Kelsey and Lane and Cox and BG, but everybody forgetting the fact that we basically just built a whole nother core this past season. So, and they young. So if we still keep getting younger and we got some of those guys that know what the standard is and keep instilling that in these new younger guys, I'm really not too worried. Like really the main two spots I'm saying to worry about is worry about the quarterback because he's the young franchise quarterback. And CJ Gardner-Johnson is the closest safety I've seen we had other than Malcolm Jenkins that really plays like B-Dog.
Absolutely. Speaking of B-Dog, do you guys think that he would be good for a DB coach?
Yep.
because I like him. A lot of people have been talking about that for at least the past couple of years, that he should be
I've
the DB
said it
coach.
many times.
Me
I
too.
said him. I said him. And just this past off season, I said, matter of fact, last week I said to y'all while we was here, what about Asante Samuel Sr.?
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
See,
mean? One of those. I firmly believe as position coaches, if you played at a high level for
Yeah.
this team, you should automatically be
Be a
considered
candidate.
somebody as a
Right.
positions coach in this league on this team for this organization. So guys like B Dog and Asante Samuel Sr., Seth Joyner, Hugh
Seth Jr., I
Douglas,
think.
those dudes that played here and played at a high level, Jeremiah Trotter, stuff like those guys, I would say immediately, without question, I would want to have those guys in as position coaches for the team.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is the only thing I'll say is it's a lot of work. And so here's my thing. Someone like B Dog, someone like Asante Samuels, who, they're Hall of Fame, they're probably still collecting a check somewhere, somehow. They got the knowledge. They have the mindset, but do they want to invest that time? Because think about it. You have kids, you have grandkids. You're not seeing them during the season. You don't have as much responsibility as the head coach, and you don't get as much as the kudos and the blame. But you still at the facility from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. You know what I mean? So you putting in long hours. It's a good paycheck. But if B Dog saved his money or did anything investment wise while he was playing, which I think a lot of these guys know what they're doing nowadays with all the
Oh yeah.
ways to
That's
invest
why
your
I
money and
said
stuff.
last week Asante Samuel Sr. because look where his son at. His son playing in San Diego for the Chargers right now.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Yep.
well, he might want to go coach the Chargers. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Coach his son. But here's my
But see
thing. I just think
that. No, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be if I was a father with my son playing in the NFL. I probably would want to coach there too. But at the same time, wouldn't you want to see that you can put that same skill you put into your son? Wouldn't you want to prove that you could put that into somebody else too?
Yeah.
true. But again, it comes to the point where it's like this. We love B Dog, and B Dog comes out every once in a while and does a little hype video for us, talks with us, and does stuff like that. But spending an hour of your time in a hype video is different than 24/7 at the facility for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? So
There
B
was a
Dog probably
pivot
hears us.
interview.
B Dog probably hears us. Is like, I would love to, but man, I go to church. He got his own thing. He want to be in church on Sunday, not in the Eagles locker room, not on the sideline. Like, listen, I love B Dog, but I be following his IG and stuff. He got some foundation stuff that he be working on and stuff he be doing.
Yeah.
I would love it though. Don't get me wrong. Real quick though, the YouTube side, Fitness Roofer with a $2 super chat. Allen Robinson will make a good wide receiver 3 when healthy. What is y'all take on Allen Robinson? I know he had a really, really bad season with the Rams this past season, but I'll let the people.
He didn't fit with that system. Like, he's still good, He just didn't fit with that system.
He was bad. I'm not gonna lie, he was bad. But again, we
cool.
hear him saying wide receiver 3. Honestly, I'm sticking with Quez for now. That's what I really would do. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Listen, he dropped the ball in the Super Bowl. It hurt me. It broke my heart. But I'm still going. He's cheap and he's fast. And I think again, he went in the gym heavy. He went in his bag heavy from year 1 to year 2 because we saw the big jump. He's a 6th-round draft pick. He's not supposed to be, this dude on a Super Bowl contender roster. But I think the way he approached the very first media session after the big drop in the Super Bowl, he didn't run from it. He didn't hide from it. He stood 10 toes down, like, bro, I don't feel good about the way I regressed this season. It's not about AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. It's about not about none of them. It's about me not capitalizing on my opportunities. And someone who can stand like that in front of the media, not being a guy who was ever supposed to be in the spotlight, I'm going to give him another opportunity because I did see beautiful contested catches in year 2. Listen, his year 2 was better than anything Jalen Reagor did in his whole career. So I think there's still a level. I think he's going to get better. You know what I mean? So $2 million for one of the fastest guys in the NFL who has had some great contested catches, happened to drop a big one in the Super Bowl, but that's not the only reason we lost. There was a lot of things that unfolded in the Super Bowl, so we can't blame it all on him. It still hurts me though. You know what I mean?
You see, Mike, you just brought up Jalen Reagor, man. I almost had I almost blacked out for a minute. You said Jalen Reagor, and for a second there, I was like, dude, Jalen Reagor had a worse career with the Philadelphia Eagles than Travis Fulgham.
Yeah, Fulgham had a good year one year.
But Quez, he took accountability. He reflecting. He looking, you know what I'm saying? And you got to remember, that's like when we had Aguilar, right? Aguilar, remember, he was shot the one year. And you seen what he did when he buckled down. He really had to take accountability, look, and reflect. And was like, you know what? I'm done with social media. I got to get back to what I'm doing. Man, I don't care what nobody say. He was a major reason why we got to the Super Bowl and won. I don't care what anybody says, man. You can say anything bad about Aguilar. Aguilar was a big contribution to that. He contributed more to that Super Bowl run than Carson Wentz. And that's what everybody sit there argue, talk about Carson Wentz, this and that. Listen, Aguilar did his thing. He bounced back. Quez could do the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it ain't even like Quez is that bad.
I don't know about that statement. He contributed more than Carson Wentz did. I don't know about that. I don't know about that statement. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not going to take away from what Aguilar did that year. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say Aguilar, he did his thing that year. But I don't know if I can say. I don't know if I'm going to say. I don't know if he ain't had no MVP type performance all that whole.
He just had a swig of that Ohio River, man. You tripping, man.
Bro, okay. So you trying to tell me that Aguilar played like an MVP that entire year, or was it Carson Wentz that played like one?
Bro.
Well, no, look.
Aguilar balled out that season.
I don't know.
Did he ball out more than Carson Wentz did that year?
Listen, I ain't gonna say you got that. Listen, you entitled to an opinion, I'm entitled to mine.
Exactly. Let's leave it at that. The opinion is opinion. I will say this though, and I do want to get Brandon, Dev, Cool C, and Smitty Eagles take on that as well. I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna get with you.
In the totality of the Super Bowl, here's the thing. Wentz was an MVP player in 17, and he got us the first round bye, which was crucial in the whole thing. So I still got to give it to Wentz. However, I do see what Chaotic is saying in the sense of, well, guess what? When the biggest games that mattered were the playoff games and the Super Bowl, and he wasn't there. He wasn't available.
Exactly.
Wait.
I'm not gonna lie. He had some big catches in the Super Bowl too.
Correct. And so let me just say this though.
Again, he stepped up when he needed to. I'm not saying I'm not gonna take that from him.
Nobody said you didn't. But Stu, again, your opinion is Wentz. His opinion is Aguilar. I'm gonna side with Wentz just because of the level he played. He played at a higher level than anybody. But again, I do see what Chaotic is saying that, you know, for the games that mattered that got us that ring, Aguilar was producing and not. But let's see what Smitty Eagle, start with you. just on that conversation. Good.
Between the two? Wentz and Aguilar? Come on, man. Chaotic. Look. I like Chaotic, bro. I really do. I usually don't agree with Stu that much, but I gotta go with Wentz, bro.
Yeah, you gotta go Wentz.
Listen, hold on. Isn't that the same season we ain't had nobody with 1,000 yards? Come on now.
Well, no.
That was the
season Ertz did.
Ertz did.
No, that was 2019.
Ertz did.
That was the next season. That was the next season.
Okay.
18. All right, I'm gonna take some ownership here, right? And it could be I'm a little, because I go through it with my homies all the time about this Carson Wentz Hurts thing. So maybe I got a little hate towards Wentz. I mean,
it's all good to get a little carried away.
I'm a realist, man. I gotta keep it on.
Okay, man. I give you that.
But don't downplay what Aguilar did, man. Like,
I'm not going to downplay what he did. What he did was big.
He did. Listen, he made Carson Wentz look good that season, man.
Hold on. That was the second best season of Aguilar's entire career.
Because that was Carson Wentz's best career.
Did we not benefit from that?
True.
That was
Before that time
But-
came up, we was talking about
Hey, but I say one thing.
That's with the Raiders last year.
Hey, wasn't Carson Wentz like top 5?
Aguilar in the Philadelphia Eagles uniform.
That's what I said. His best year, second best year was with us.
Aguilar, New England, or with the Raiders. We talk about him in the Philadelphia Eagles uniform, man.
let's hear what Brandon got to say. Let's hear what Brandon got to say.
The only thing is, I just remember Carson Wentz. Didn't he was like top 3 or top 4 best player in the NFL that year? And on the top 100 list. That's the only thing I remember. He was top 100, but Nelson Aguilar did ball. And the one game I remember that was one of my favorites was against the Cardinals when he caught that slant or that deep post, and then he hit him with the little spinner route, and then you know what I'm saying, beat him in the end zone. So like, I mean, I'm not.
All I'm saying is, I just brought it up because I'm saying Quez deserve an opportunity to redeem.
I agree.
Just like that.
We shouldn't give up on him,
We
man.
can't write him off yet.
We can't.
Nobody need to give up on Quez. We all got our little beef with Quez, but we can't give up on Quez yet.
No, that's
We
what
can't,
I'm saying.
man.
He deserve another opportunity, is what I'm saying.
He's fast Batman. Come on, man. He's fast Batman, man. We gotta believe in it, man.
I will say this though. I understand,
For real.
I understand where
For real.
Chaotic's coming from. Look, there's a sense of I can't even like, because of everything that transpired with Carson Wentz and because of the downfall and because of this and the third, I'm always going to look. I know what he did for us and I know how good he was that season, but I understand that he's just coming from a sense of, I don't like you no more, so I'm trying to discredit you as much as I can, type thing. So that's where it came up. I think as Chaotic started thinking about it, he was like, yeah, I got to give. But I understand where you're coming from in the sense that, I'm only going to give him what I got to give him and nothing more. You know what I mean?
But I look at it too. But look at the situation, Carson. I'm not even really that much of a Carson Wentz fan. I just respected him because he was my quarterback. But at the end of the day, name a quarterback that came into the situation he did, especially as a rookie. Who was his top receiver? Was it Jordan Matthews? They had Zach Ertz, and then his second year, he's always had subpar receivers. And then he only had one good year when we had Alshon. Last year we went to the Super Bowl, but he got hurt. But he's never had pieces around him, I felt, and they never put him in position. They always put him in situations where it's like, why are you having this dude throw 50 times with these bum receivers? Like, remember our whole system and everything was just out of whack. It was just, that's the only thing that kind of salty in my mouth about Carson Wentz.
Database was out of whack after he got hurt, man.
And then he's just not mentally tough though. Like,
no, look at killed his career. Listen, that injury messed him up. Period.
But he's not.
But it was the ACL injury. I don't think it was the ACL injury. I think it was the concussion injury. There was a concussion injury in that Seahawks playoff game when Clowney hit him in the back, when he speared him in the back of the head.
Right.
That's everything went fire with him.
I think it's bigger than that too.
Yeah. He was actually.
I know his mental and his heart was one the same after that.
Yeah,
the thing is,
just say this though, Carson Wentz in Indianapolis, he did throw. It was 27-7, ain't bad. 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But once again, he had one game that he had to win against the Jags when the Jags were not like they are now, and he flamed out Wentz style. So again, I'll never understand the downfall of Wentz, just like I never understand the downfall of Ben Simmons. I know this ain't about NBA, but
mental toughness.
Two guys who were drafted to be the franchise, and they started out like it. He wins Rookie of the Year. Ben Simmons, year 2, Carson Wentz, runner-up MVP, and then he just got let go from the Commanders.
Man, but I just think Carson Wentz is not mentally focused, man. Period. I think he just got to a point.
Philly sports teams, they need to start drafting people from real hard areas. They got to be mentally tough to come play here.
The Deion Sanders effect.
You ain't built for it. You ain't built for it. You got to be from somewhere where it's rough. You can't be from no outskirts place and think you're going to come into Philly and if you have a bad performance, it's going to be okay. No, you can't have it. You're a professional.
That's like you're a pro. Nims. Remember, he said, I don't want to go to Philly. Don't draft me, Philly.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. He ain't want to come here.
He did not want to come to Philly. He was like,
no, he did not.
No, don't draft me.
Denzel Mims did not want to be a part of Philadelphia.
He ain't want no parts of Philly.
Yeah, man. But with Carson Wentz, but my main thing, the only thing I want to say about Carson, the one more thing, is I just believe that he's not mentally tough when it comes to the sense like his game is not into the game. I look at Jalen Hurts, for example. Off season, my man's out in the field working on his game. Your boy Carson Wentz is out here hunting, doing other things. You know what I mean? It's not into football. Right. So when it comes to hard times in a situation when it comes to football related, he's not mentally ready. You know what I'm saying? Compared to Jalen Hurts that's just been focusing on football all off season, preparing for moments where it's tough. That's the difference, I believe. And I think it got the tough got tough, and then he looked silly, getting all that money, and then his confidence went down, and you know how it is a snowball. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah,
that's right. Everybody, think about Hurts got everybody like, look, we going back just off of him, knowing how dedicated he is to getting better, and just I mean that's what got everybody like still just thinking like we going right back because we know what we got as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And his like
it's not just quarterback.
Team, man.
It's not just quarterback though, because you got to think. We just brought in his best friend that got the same mindset.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So him and AJ, and then on top of that, you got to think, him and Smitty had that same connection since they was at Bama. So all three of them boys, those is the three heads of the snake. So if the three heads of the snake, that's our Cerberus right there.
Thank you, Howard.
Right there. And if them three heads is all got the same thing, they holding everybody else accountable. And then you got another head on the upper side of the ball with CJ Gardner-Johnson. Come on now. They're going to be like, hey, look, we got to get this together. Yeah. Now, Dean and Davis going to have to play roles this year.
Big time.
Yeah.
Same with Jurgens, because even if Kelsey comes back, there's no way we're going to keep Isaac Seumalo. He's going to get paid 14, 15 million a year by somebody. Yeah. He's most likely going. That's one guy I can guarantee he's not coming back. So Kelsey comes back on a discount, then you slide Jurgens at right guard. If you don't, then he got to play center, and then we got to figure out right guard. But let's talk a little bit about free agency because that's coming up March 15th. I don't know if we'll sign somebody exactly on a day. I think that's when, if there is a deal for CJ Gardner-Johnson, it's being announced on March 15th. You're not going to allow him to be flirting with other teams too long. Because if we don't get the deal done March 15th, somebody gonna swoop it and get it. Because the top always 5 to 10 free agents get signed right away on that day, and then the guys who are iffy linger around. Where are you guys at with I want to know what y'all think about BG. Do you think he ends up coming back to Philly, or do you think that if somebody offers him, like I think we can get him, his market value is like $5 million, but if somebody else like Cleveland, or I think the Lions even now are talking possibly. If you see BG saying, "I want to get paid one more time. I'm leaving Philly," or you think he come back? He come back on the 5. It's 3-4 million a year different. Gonna make BG leave Philadelphia.
You said Detroit though. You said
Detroit or Cleveland.
Yeah, but see, you said once you said I was all good with him coming back. I thought he would have came back all good. Until you said Detroit. That's his hometown. He grew up a Detroit Lions fan. So
I didn't even know that.
Like, if you could end your career playing for the team you grew up rooting for in your hometown. Oh.
He trying to win something else though. He want another piece of hardware.
That's true.
Piece of hardware. He's not going to leave Philly to go to the graveyard. He ain't doing it.
No, he not going to leave to go to the graveyard. But
the Lions ain't that bad anymore. They were a
no, they really ain't. They really ain't a playoff team.
They just play bad.
You know they not going to win that because of what they did to Barry.
No, they had one of the top for most of the season.
And what they did,
for most of the season, they had one of the most highest scoring offenses in the league last year. They just had the worst scoring defense in the league all year long. Adding defensive pieces is what they trying to do to improve defensively. If they improve defensively, that's a playoff team. They can compete for and win a division. Because I'm telling you, I know for a fact I believe they better than the Vikings.
They said after we played in the first game, I'm like, hey, this team could be a playoff team, but they just didn't win.
Hey, man,
They just didn't win important games. They just
that was their only problem. They had a sorry defense.
I look at it like they
can get pressure though.
Right?
Aiden Hutchinson over there,
yeah, man, he's a beast.
Man. He was this close this year to getting that.
That's what I'm saying.
Man.
And you add BG on the other side.
Aiden?
That's Aiden on one side and BG on the other.
But
that's pressure.
I think
that's
coming at you. Want to go out his whole career over here, man.
I hear you. I hope so.
I think so. Look, he loves Philly.
So too.
He do.
Yeah.
But he could also be that guy that I'm saying ends his career bringing his hometown team back to some type of glory for him. They ain't had no glory for him since damn Barry Sanders.
I think we got to keep.
Ain't none of us going to see Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl, man.
No, I'm not saying them win the Super Bowl, but they can at least be playoff. They can at least make a playoff and win a playoff game or something with it. Him helping. Right. They ain't did that since before Barry Sanders. Come on, man.
Just that with Reggie Bush and them.
He wants some hardware, man.
What you say, Dev 10?
No, I said they was solid when they had Reggie Bush and all them. Remember they was going back and forth with Dallas.
Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush and Matt Stafford.
That 1 year with Stafford, they got to the playoffs. And Slade was over there too, you know. But
they ain't win. They made it to the playoffs one time and got bounced out.
I'll be low key mad if BG disses us for the Lions though on some real big.
I really would be.
Look,
I wouldn't be.
11 sacks is no joke. And
I wouldn't be because I would understand. If you went to Detroit, I would understand. And you went home. I got you. Okay, I get it. You got to think about it. Hassan Reddick took a discount to come home to play
because he knew he could win here. That's why.
Yeah.
But he also home.
Yeah, true that. But look, BG done just put 13 years into Philly. This is his home now. Hold up. BG what? BG 35 is still BG spent 13 hard years of his life in Philly.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, his kids born here.
His kids is born in Philly.
You see this we drafted him, man? I still remember. He was lit up.
Oh, man. Yeah, I remember too.
I remember too. I wanted Earl Thomas. I ain't gonna lie.
He want to go out as a bird, man. Trust me, man.
I want him to. I want him to. I'm just saying. I can see it.
2 more years he gonna play.
Yeah. Ain't no going home. He home already.
Your whole career over here. You gonna waste your last 2 years to go home and be with the in the graveyard when you got an opportunity to at least get one more. I mean, ring over here.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he gonna go.
Money for real, honestly.
I'm not saying he gonna go. I'm just saying I would understand if he did. I could see it happening.
I understand what you're saying, but I believe BG. He's a winner. He want to win. Yeah,
I fully believe he want to stay. I fully believe he want to stay.
Huh?
Since we talking about free agents, what about Mike Epps?
Marcus Epps.
Football player.
I know you're talking about. We know. We got you, bro. The comedian.
He said we switch entertainment.
Marcus Epps.
Yo,
if he takes a discount.
I saw Jordan Schultz tweet that Marcus Epps is getting some love from free agency.
Yeah, he is.
I would be okay with bringing Epps back. But if we bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, then we can just replace Epps with Blankenship, to be honest with you.
Or Eddie Jackson.
Epps could go. Chicago. I ain't pressed on keeping him.
Nah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not pressed on him either.
I worried about our corner situation.
Right.
Yeah, I would have possibly kept Marcus Epps if nobody was bidding for him and he was gonna come back for you know what I mean, something light. Yeah, you know, you need depth in the secondary regardless, you know.
Yeah.
But now if he got more than 3 offers, I ain't matching.
Right.
So
I didn't like how he got beat in the Super Bowl. So
I mean,
a couple of times, but that was his fault. Like
it was by Kelsey. Kelsey a goat.
Yeah.
But I do agree. He was burnt toast on that one.
He didn't burn anybody though.
Let's blame the field though.
Field was terrible.
It was the field.
It is what it is.
How everybody was slipping and sliding out there, but the nigga that had the one bad lead. He the only one slipping and sliding. Mahomes. Everybody
Yeah.
else is everywhere.
Here's what's crazy to me. It come out over this past weekend. Oh, the water, it was overwatered. It had a mildew smell to the field.
What?
That's what they
Now
said.
yeah. It
So
was
during the Super Bowl,
the field
they
was
said
overwatered.
Kansas City was complaining about that arena for like during the
But
regular
yeah,
season. They said they was
before
complaining
that.
about that.
Yeah.
Yo, I didn't know.
Hell,
I didn't know it was the
Reddick was
KC guy.
complaining
Though.
about it years ago.
Huh?
LB told the last time we did Goat Talk, LB told me, and I didn't know that the person who laid down the grass is the guy who does it for KC all the time. So like all I'm saying is, and again, LB told me that. I never went and confirmed it. I'm just gonna go off his word. If that's the case, though, all I'm saying is, again, the Eagles were on the field earlier, and they were on the field throughout that time, and could have seen. But all I'm saying is, it's just weird that the guy from KC laid it down. We were all slipping, but I did see the Eagles are really slipping.
Yeah, literally.
They had to change out their cleats like a ton of times. They said on the sideline.
I'm gonna be mad. I don't care. I'm gonna be salty for a little bit longer. I'm gonna be salty to at least like May. I'm still gonna be mad until about May. I don't care. Super Bowl's a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed for a minute.
Hey, Mike. Now we
at least y'all didn't fly out to Vegas to go see the game. I flew out to Vegas to go see the game. My cousin lives out there. We were gonna go tailgate and found out we couldn't, so we just ended up going to an Eagles bar in Vegas. So we watched it there.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And let me tell you, the cheesesteaks were absolutely amazing at this place. Absolutely amazing.
Vegas,
the guy who runs it, he's from Philly. He started this restaurant. They had a full buffet for free there. It was amazing.
That would have cheered me up a little bit then. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd have been eating and drunk.
With that,
I'd have been slumped with some cheesesteaks. Like,
yeah, I think I'd have got over the loss.
He was like, he saw the look on my face, and I was like, throwing my phone. He's like, okay, it's time for her to go.
yeah, it's time to roll out.
But what do y'all think about?
Look, I'd be like, yeah, it's time to go. We all know that look on a woman's face.
Dude, so are y'all okay with Bradbury leaving without replacing him? Because I'm gonna say this: I'm sick and tired of getting free agent corners all the time. We need to draft a stud, man. I'm sorry, man. We need to have something for the future because that's all we've been doing for like the last 10 years. We haven't really hit on a corner.
We haven't drafted
Mike.
We haven't taken it. Listen, I just heard about this today, and that was gonna be my video for tomorrow, but we're gonna talk about it right now. We haven't drafted a cornerback in the first round since Lito Shepherd in 2002.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
That was the last time we drafted a first round corner. Because listen, we had some studs, Sante Samuels, even Big Play Slay now. These are all free agents, and even Sheldon Brown, he wasn't a first round pick. But we haven't used a first round pick on a corner since 2002. It got to be the year we snapped that in half.
We have to, man. I really think we need somebody athletic and fast too, man. We need like an athletic person in that backfield too, because Bradbury kind of stiff on the hips a little bit, but he's strong. He does his he does his thing. I'm not knocking nothing, but we need an athletic youngster, man. You know what I'm saying? That's hungry. That's just my opinion.
I was watching the combine, man, and this kid from Georgia, that kid Keely Ringo. That boy, I'm telling you, 6'2", 205, run a 4.3 hit.
4.36 or 4.38 or something. Yeah, I saw that.
I have to check out the tape on him.
He a big physical dude.
I'm not taking him at 10, bro.
I'm going Oregon.
Dude,
Gonzalez.
I told you this the other day. I'm not taking him at 10.
Nah.
I'm sorry. His game reminds me of Jalen Ramsey.
I think Ringo's the guy. If we end up going a D-tackle or a defensive lineman, a defensive end at 10, I think is where you want to get Ringo or Cam Smith or even a guy like Garrett Wilson who played really good. Garrett Wilson, I started watching his film, and he can mirror receivers like no other. Now he's coming off an ACL, which makes me say you can't get him into the late first round. But I think if one of these guys, and again the top prospects in Witherspoon, Gonzalez.
I like Gonzalez.
I mean, if one of them two are there at 10, I think you go there. If you go, but if you don't draft the guy at 10, because maybe some defensive lineman who Howie loves D lineman falls to you. But then that's when you look at that Cam Smith out of South Carolina, Ringo out of Georgia, and even Garrett Williams out of Syracuse. But you got to get a corner in the first round. You got to.
I agree.
You like Porter Jr.?
The Eagles did
kind of slow.
The Eagles did submit a proposal of letting the player wear 0. And there's only one player that wears 0. That's a cornerback. So I'm not saying that it's like hint, but we need a cornerback because Slay leaving sooner too. Like he's 30. What is he? 32 ish.
And then with all this Matt Patricia talk, making me nervous because, you know what I mean? I don't know how Darius Slay and him ain't getting along. I ain't trying to change the subject, but I
ain't trying to see Patricia at all.
We just need a youngster.
No Dylan.
I really wanted J.C. Horn back in the day. Like
me too.
When we were drafting,
I did too.
I wanted him, and I saw that he was up for free agency, and I'm like, can we get this guy? Like, but I don't know how much he costs.
And I think he got that injury.
He on that first round rookie contract, and he coming off back-to-back injury seasons.
He had a bad injury.
No. We can't deal with no injury prone. No. Never mind.
Yeah,
I was even mad last year. I mean, I'm not mad about it. We got Cam Jurgens with our center, but I wanted Santi Samuel Jr. I was hot we didn't get him, and we got Jurgens. I was like,
that was the previous year. That was when we drafted Landon Dickerson.
Yeah,
It was Landon Dickerson.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Look, Landon Dickerson's a monster, but still,
I'm glad we did it though.
But still,
yeah,
you can't go mad at that. But look,
Landon, I can't. Yeah, Landon's a G. But
think about
who's in the corner, man.
Look, Sauce Garner. I mean, like, I'm not saying all first round corners are going to be legit, but J.C. Horn, when he's not hurt, he plays at a top tier level. Look at Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner. Look at Asante Samuels went in the second round. But I'm saying, all I'm saying is, if the Eagle Scouts do what they need to do, if we are the first team taking a corner and we pick the right one, this guy got to be the guy for 10 years, and he should be able to.
You feel me?
Because think about it. Look, we picked number 10. Especially with that Anthony Richardson, the quarterback having a great pro day, he's going to slide. Mm-hmm. So I think there's an opportunity for if 4 quarterbacks go before 10, that means we're going to get the 6 best skill position. So just to say, 4 quarterbacks go. Let's just say Jalen Carter and Will Anderson go. Right? That's 6 now. We might be the first one to take a cornerback off the board, and we better not mess that up. And we better
for real.
Yeah,
that would be great.
If we go
is not drafting. Okay, so let's just hope that we draft well. We have to draft well when it comes down to that corner. We need a corner badly.
Especially with Darius Slay here.
Let's just hope how we got the philosophy of when he goes for them defense and he goes for corners and wide receivers, go draft from the SEC, dude.
Period.
Go draft the SEC guys. Those are the guys you want at corner. Those are the guys you want at wide receiver. Those are the guys you want at safety and
linebackers.
Them D linemen. That's where you want to get them boys from.
Yeah.
Period. Go somewhere for offensive linemen and tight ends or whatever, running back court, whatever. Cool, do that. But corners, wide receivers, defensive line, SEC players. That's what you need, because that's where you're gonna get the best guys at.
You don't trust the Gonzalez kid out of Oregon? You don't trust him because he's in the
other conferences. Is outliers though, but mostly it's SEC guys.
Yeah, but Christian Gonzalez, I'm taking a chance. Again, it's tough, and again, I'm gonna start doing even more, research as much as I can. Just watching, like I like to watch the games that the players play bad in too, because highlights are highlights. Right. Everybody got highlights. You can pull up Jalen Reagor highlights. You can watch a 2-minute clip of Jalen Reagor, and you'll be like, "Oh, why are people no?"
I want to see game tape.
I want to see the worst tape, because if their worst tape ain't that big, that's I like to judge people not only on what they do great, but how they respond to their worst game, how they got beat, how do they adjust their game, what did they do, you know? So I like to look at that. And there's I forgot what website it is. I gotta look it up again, but there's this one guy who always shows you their best game and it shows you their worst game. He doesn't show you, but he tells you what game to watch of their worst game and blah blah blah. So we're gonna be doing that on the channel as well. But I think
that again, level of competition matters too. Because if your worst game comes against one of those top level teams, but all of your best games are against teams that ain't nobody. We all know ain't nowhere near that national football championship level. Come on now, if your best games is against teams like Ball State and BYU,
I feel you.
But then you go up against teams like Texas and A&M, Mississippi State, and Alabama, and your game is trash.
Yep,
I can't mess with you. Now, if you go up against those teams, and those are some of your best games, I got to turn my head at you and look at you. That's why when we drafted Derek Barnett, I wasn't so mad about it. Everybody was, oh, he wasn't. Myles Garrett was better. I'm like, really? If you watch the tape, Myles Garrett against those top competitions, Myles Garrett was a ghost in the game and on the stat sheet.
It didn't work out.
That goes to show how wrong we were.
But I looked when I was watching the game. No. It turns out that Myles Garrett is better. But when you watch the game tape of him that year coming out of college, Derek Barnett showed up on the tape against those.
He did.
Teams. He showed up. Myles Garrett he pulled a Houdini because he was just missing in action.
And listen, this is why we can't always go off the combine. Like again, the combine.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about game tape. I'm not talking about combine.
No, I agree, but like I mean, the narrative that right now the combine's going, so that is what we want to talk about.
Right.
But you just want to make sure the combine matches what you see on film, because remember Mike Mamula, right? Mike Mamula's combine, and I just saw a little short on it, and oh my goodness, his combine was so great that he got picked in front of Warren Sapp. You know what I mean? And if you look at his combine traits. Like I forgot, don't quote me on this, but like he ran faster than Bosa, he jumped higher than JJ Watt, and he did this better than Warren Sapp. And it's like Mike Mamula was mediocre his whole thing. Here's my thing about the combine. They do the same drills every year. So you could just practice these drills and be good at it. Yeah. Just because you jumped the high, like you know what I mean? So like this is what you call a workout warrior. Okay, but that doesn't mean you can be on the field with these big dogs, you know what I mean? So
that's why I keep saying.
You're right, though.
Yeah. That ain't much.
All I gotta say is watch Tom Brady's 40 and as a rookie. There you go. That looked terrible.
That's facts. Yo, I think Rick could have beat him in the 40 time. I ain't gonna lie.
You know what I'm saying? He looked straight goofy. He became a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest, probably the greatest ever. So you know what I mean? I see what you're saying, Philly Mike. You know that's tough. That's tough, man. So as a GM, that must be tough, man. Because I've seen it so many years. So many receivers that have been like the fastest. I remember Oakland. Remember when what was the coach for Oakland that died? What's his name? The Oakland Raiders coach. I mean, not the coach, but the owner. That the main. Davis. Yes, remember how he would draft always the fastest receivers into the combine. He would draft the highest, the best athletes, and always bust every single time. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I think nowadays, like, athletes are just getting better, man. So I'm starting to trust the process in certain situations, certain formulas in certain positions, So, like, in corners, guys has been coming into the league and doing good. Like Derek Stingley Jr. from Houston. Didn't he have a good year last year?
Stingley's starting to play. I mean, he's no Sauce Gardner. Sauce is a top. Sauce might be the best corner in the game. Right?
But Sauce came in. But look at his height, though. Look at his tangibles, though. This dude's arms is long. He got that whole Richard Sherman kind of like body type, but with more athleticism.
I like if we talking about Richard Sherman, Sherman / Ramsey.
Yo, you know who Richard Sherman is really hyping up is the guy he just said. Richard
Who?
Sherman has been working with, and he's all about Ringo from Georgia.
Keely
Well, then go to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Richard, like he's a Richard Sherman / Jalen Ramsey type corner, 6'2",
Really?
205, long arms, for run that 4.36.
He got the reason his name fell off is because he's coming back from injury.
Yeah,
so like
people don't remember, but last year, the first national championship win, he's the one that had that 72-yard pick six at the end of the day and put Alabama away. That was him on that pick six. You know what I'm saying? So
go Georgia Bulldog, right?
Yeah, man. It used to be Alabama.
Yeah,
Georgia, all them SEC boys when it comes to skill position and DBs and that defensive line, go to them SEC boys, man.
Yeah. I agree.
There's a lot of corners. So like I said, look, man, at this point, I'll double dip, man. I'm getting 2 corners out of this draft.
On everything. I did a mock draft that way.
Like,
I'm looking at it like this.
That?
I'm looking at it like this. If you get at least one more young corner, most likely a Keely Ringo. Y'all seem to forget we got Joe that was with Alabama last year, and Goodrich that was with Clemson. Those are 2 guys that, you know what I'm saying, that's all competition to push each other. See that other guy on the other side.
Jacobs is from Alabama too, though. Or corner. Or was it not Jake? Was the other corner that was getting burnt? Or Scott or
no, Josiah Scott?
Is he from Alabama?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know where he went to school. Nah, I'm not sure. I know he was drafted by the Jags.
Alabama.
Oh, okay.
But yo, let me just say this real quick. We about to head out in about 10 minutes. Shout out to everybody. Listen, if you can do me a favor and leave a review on the JJAANN app on your way out. Anybody in the behind the stage watching on the JJAANN app, and also they're starting a Discord as well, so we can talk. If we have any questions about things that we can talk about to bring topics up and blah 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 blah.
Right.
Let me just say this to y'all real quick. You don't never see teams do it because again, you got limited draft picks, you got multiple holes, but because this draft is so loaded in cornerback and even defensive line, it's really suited for the Eagles this year. Again, I would like to see what we do in free agency. If we could snag a BG for 2 years, right? 2 years at $9 million, 4.5 a piece, blah blah blah. If we end up doing this, that, and the third, maybe D-line is not as pressing. Hargrave, it'll be a big loss, but we have literally, if we lose Bradbury, and then Slay's only going to be here for maybe this year, next year. Some fans want him out already. I ain't mad if somehow in the second round, what was our second round pick? Is it 62? If I'm not mistaken, 62. Our second round pick. If there's somebody lingering around still, like I know y'all, some people say we might go wide receiver in the mid rounds, not second, but in the mid rounds, offensive line can always be an option. Who knows who falls? Maybe there's running backs there because this is a deep running back class too. But man, we just need to. It's a passing league, and as much as people say it's a passing league, oh look at these quarterbacks throwing 5K, blah blah blah. You need secondary pieces. You need them.
Real.
You just need as many as possible, especially with injuries and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know, but we got to come away with a corner that we believe could be the future.
Right.
Devin
Witherspoon.
Because Washington's getting tougher, man, with the receivers too, man. We're gonna start having problems. They get a quarterback out in Washington. I ain't gonna say they beat us, but that's gonna be a problem with the receivers they got. They got a nice little trio out there.
Lamar Jackson, I'm gonna be upset.
They got a nice little trio, man.
Yeah, they better not.
Terry McLaurin,
so
the young boy, the other young boy.
And you see how certain situations we get exposed, the games we get blown out. Like they scored, I ain't say blown out, but they scored a lot of points on us at the Cowboys game. It's just a corner that's just getting that we just can't. It's always corner play, man. It's like a chess piece.
That Cowboys game, Christmas Eve, that was an outlier. You got to think about it. We was dog walking them until Maddox got hurt. As soon as we put Josiah Scott in, that's when they put CeeDee Lamb in the slot.
Brings my point.
Him. Other than that was, and if it wasn't for those turnovers from Minshew trying to force the ball to Quez Watkins too many times, because if you saw 2 of those picks, he was trying to force the ball to Quez.
But I'm saying, but my point is they're still scoring a lot of points off of play though. Like we do get hurt, so we need to have fill-in players. But we just need to start drafting a culture of corners. That's what I'm saying, like a culture, like. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like to stop with this free agent stuff. If we want to build for the future, I think that's big because we're going. I feel we're going to go defensive line. I'm guaranteed we're probably going to get D line, especially with all the quarterbacks that's been doing good in the draft. You know, and that's going to creep up on the board. So, you know, I think we can still be straight if we got one in the second round, but I think we need to hit on it. You know what I mean?
Hey, Mike.
I'm saying we got to come away with at least one of these. Like if we end up going
D-line, we got to get one of these top guys.
Will be being played. Go ahead, Kay.
Hey, we talking about everything, but who gonna back up Hurts?
I mean,
listen. We already know who's going to be there. So who we gonna get? Just in case something goes south.
Man, we can't have nothing go south, man. No.
But you got to always.
I
agree.
You got to think, man.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they say? Didn't we just meet with a quarterback from UCLA? I forgot his name.
Sure did.
Yeah. I took in my mock draft. Yeah, we did.
What's his name?
Smith something, ain't it? And then he got 2 last names, don't he? It's the dude with the 2 last names. I got it right here.
But look, I think if you could snag somebody in the, you know, late in the draft, again, you don't want your backup quarterback to be in, you know, and if you are down to your backup quarterback,
Dorian
odds are
Robinson.
Yeah, Dorian Thompson. Oh, okay, I remember watching him a couple of times. He's like a little athletic guy. Okay, yeah.
He'll come in and do the read out.
He got a little cannon on him too.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah,
and he'll be super cheap. Super cheap. A guy who has the skill, who has the same skill set. I'm not saying he's not.
I'm just saying.
But
if Jalen Hurts get hurt, man, I'm hanging it up, bro. Like I ain't. Come on, man. Like
if he gets hurt for like 1 or 2 games, I ain't mad at it. But I don't no season ending.
That's what I'm saying. Bro.
I mean, he could pull a hammy, and you know, anything can happen, man. Like,
but okay, that's what you're talking about. Injury. Okay, if you're talking about that type of injury, then.
Yeah, nothing crazy, but you know, anything, you know.
You're right, though. I get what you're saying.
Say you catch COVID or something. You never know.
Damn, man.
Is that even still around? What are we talking about here?
Oh, no, actually, it still is, Mike. Don't get me started.
So hear me out. Y'all gonna think this?
I agree with Mariota.
But for skill set, coming in behind. Fucking give Kaepernick a call. I'll trust him better than half the people we talking about.
That's just PR. That's just a PR nightmare.
I'm just being stupid. But have we looked at somebody? Has anybody looked at that kid from TCU, Max Duggan? He got a little bit of athleticism in him too, and he got a little cannon on him too.
Quarterbacks, man. Honestly, but that we so focused on everything else, but. You see what happened when we needed a backup quarterback. We lost 2 games, man.
Well, that's why I'll say this. Look. We need to get somebody who's cheap because again, we have other places we gotta pay. You got to get somebody cheap. Yep. Best way to get a cheap person is to draft somebody with Jalen's skill set. That being said, if you get a Mariota, you get a Tyler Huntley, you might have to pay north of $3 to $4 or $5 million a year. That's going to take something from us. All that being said, here's my thing. Just like Jalen Hurts got hurt the last 2 years, he got hurt for 1 or 2 games and was able to come back in. That's cool. We only want a quarterback that can come in and win 1 or 2 games. My whole premises on the backup quarterback is this: we really look at it heavy because we won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. You know what I mean? But in all honesty, Pat Mahomes goes down, the Chiefs are not winning a Super Bowl. When all the years Tom Brady played. If he goes down, they're not winning the Super Bowl. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, let's look at this year. If Joe Burrow goes down, they're not. No team that has a A+ quarterback is winning the Super Bowl. And again, it can happen, and it did happen with the Eagles. But it's very rare. Just because it happened once don't mean it's going to be like every single time. So my thing is, I want to invest in the backup quarterback, something to keep us afloat. But if knock on some fake wood, real wood, whatever. If Jalen Hurts goes down for the whole season, like again, It's a wrap. Just
a
like
wrap.
if Pat Mahomes does, just like if
Yeah.
Herbert
If
does,
that
just like
happened,
if
I'm not watching the rest of the season.
But and the main thing is too, I think it's more crucial for Jalen Hurts to stay healthy next year because we're not going to be able to get away with him missing 2 or 3 games with this tough schedule that's ahead of us, guys. Like our schedule is mean, so if we and then so like we need a. I don't know what we need to do to change up his, like, I can't say change up his game or none of that. I'm just saying, keep in mind, our teams were playing.
Not modify the play calling. That's what you do. You call it. I noticed we don't put him under center much unless we running the ball. You got to start running play action and regular pass plays with him under center.
We need a pounder though. We need a big running back.
Keep the defense on the toe.
I was going to say that we needed a bigger run. I was going to ask you guys if you guys wanted a bigger back because I think we need one. So then that way we can punch in the ball into the end zone, especially since they're going to look like the NFL's trying to take away the push.
Exactly. There you go.
I said that last week when we was on here.
Tank Bigsby.
Or somebody that he don't have to be that big. We just need a guy that likes to run between the tackles and just get his money.
Yeah, you need somebody that gets busy.
Somebody,
you know what I mean? But
and it will.
That's why I was mad. We ain't never bring back Jordan Howard.
I don't understand something about him, man. Something I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's an injury he's dealing with or something. It's something weird that nobody really knows about, man.
He's like 26 years old, just not being able to play. I don't understand him.
I don't get that, man.
Me either.
Too many number 2s, man.
Yeah, he was in the practice squad last year. Looks crazy.
And the crazy thing is this: like, again, a bigger back would complement Kenneth Gainwell, especially if we move off of Miles. Like like when we were using Miles and Kenneth, Kenneth can hit the hole a little different than Miles and this, that, and the third, but they both are similar size, similar stature, similar, not saying vision, but you would want a bigger back to complement things with a guy like Kenneth Gainwell. But to your point about keeping Jalen Hurts upright, like it's the NFL still. You could get hit in the pocket and get crushed. But I will say, when you're playing teams like the Bears, don't run him 17 times against the Bears. Like, if you got to run him 17 times against the Bills to get a dub, or the Chiefs,
somebody said
if you're playing the Bears,
in December when it's cold, especially in December when it's cold as hell and that ground is froze up like that. I feel like it's like playing tackle on concrete.
Man, you only do that in the playoffs when it's needed. Man, that's what we got running backs for, man. Jalen Hurts got to get down, do the old school, you know. But he's smart though. I trust Jalen, man. That dude's the main thing is I love about Jalen, man, is his how he carries himself as a young man. Like some of the things that he does. I'm 41. I take it to my life like, wow. Like how can he go through this?
Bro. And seriously, think about it. If we were half as mature as he was when we was his age,
it's crazy, man. And I appreciate it so much. It's to the point. I'm gonna say this. Even if he doesn't win us a Super Bowl, I'm still happy that this guy represented the Philadelphia Eagles and wore that jersey. And then that's what it's bigger than that, man. Like how he carried. Like, look, I'm a Ja Morant fan. Like I'm from Memphis. You know, I live in Seattle, but I'm a Memphis fan. And then
how you feel about Ja Morant?
Bro, like until this year, it made me realize like I ain't messing with Ja Morant. Like why you acting like that, man? And I'd be like, Jalen Hurts ain't doing that. And he's done more than in 1 year than you have in your 3 or 4. Like, man, I'm sorry, we went off subject. You're going to make me go into a whole rant, bro. But I'm just saying.
Like that,
bro.
Hurts is the way he is. He humble because, first and foremost, he had his father in his life, right? Not only that, he has a lot of women around him. I'm serious. He keeps, and
he does.
He has a lot of women around him. And they keep him grounded, man. And it works.
Yeah, all his entire age, his entire representation is all women.
And that's why they gonna ask. That's why the women go. The women
everybody that works for him, his management team, everybody that represents him is all women.
All women.
And he did that for a specific reason. He said, "My mom is one of the most grounded." He said my mom was one of the most grounded people that I ever had around me growing up. So I realized if I ever wanted to stay grounded, keep a strong woman around me or a team of strong women to help me stay grounded. And that's why his whole management team is all women.
That's correct.
Well, what all I can say is, man, like at the end of the day, this dude is just like it never ceases to amaze me how he just carries himself, man. And there's some of the things he says, his interviews right after a game, it's just like I couldn't be that mature. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like and
be honest with you, we not only while we shouting him out for how mature he is and how he handles himself, we gotta shout out not just his mom, but his dad, Avion Hurts too, man, because his pops really stayed on him like that and kept him grounded too. Made sure he understood what it was to be a man and how to put that work in and just keep grinding. No matter what, you go keep grinding, put the work in. You gotta. It's a reason you doing this, so keep working.
Public service announcement there, everybody.
If you listen to some of the interviews, even with his father, you can tell he got that from his father, and they look just alike.
For real.
They talk alike. The way they look at things.
You cannot beat Jalen Hurts' work ethic. It is second to none. And that's the one thing that I can say about that
he don't even call his dad most times. Yeah, he said most times he don't even call his dad. Most time he call his dad Coach Hurts.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's what he taught. That's how he taught his dad most times.
Yeah,
Coach Hurts.
He was a ball boy for the Texans. Like he's been around, just champions or just professional sports for a long time. And look, you could see it in Pat Mahomes too. Like Pat Mahomes, his dad was a major league pitcher. So again, when you brought up around that life and understand it, and you just can learn so many things from a young age. Just so much. Like he's talking with some OG football players. He knows what to do, what not to do. And in this age of social media and shenanigans, it's so easy to mess up. So shout out to people like Jalen Hurts.
For real.
For real. It's so easy to buy into anything, to type your name in and see what's going on, especially the slander he got early in his career from his own fans, from his own fan base giving up on him, right? So kudos to him. Dude's a beast. Give him $50 million.
I mean, like I was saying, you can. I'll say one more thing too.
Think about it during the press conference. He said they probably didn't even want me drafted here.
Yeah,
he was talking straight to the fans. Like they probably didn't even want me drafted here.
And you'll never have to worry about him being drunk at halftime or throwing up at halftime.
Hey, listen, I do love McNabb too, man. You leave my guy alone.
I love McNabb. Man, I was calling a spade a spade.
I hear you. He ate too much chunky soup, man. Listen, too much chunky soup. You know what I mean?
Listen, I need a quick question. I need everybody keep it 100, real rap. Keep it 100, real shit. Now, when we did draft Hurts, who didn't like that pick?
I didn't. I said quit.
I did not.
I was hot as fish grease.
Hey, look,
go on.
Hold on, wait.
I was like, what is that? I was like, what?
We need a receiver. I was like, oh man.
I thought
not gonna lie.
How you feel about it?
I feel dumb. I'm glad. Go ahead. I don't want to cut nobody else. Go ahead.
I'm glad.
I'm not gonna lie. In my drafts I did before that draft, I would always draft Jalen Hurts, but it was always a 3rd round pick. So when we actually did it in real life in the 2nd round, I was like,
give me the screenshot. Get the screenshot. I need to see a screenshot.
Hey, listen.
I want to see it.
If you think I'm joking, ask LB. I sent LB the screenshot of it.
I'm gonna have to ask LB. Go ahead. I'm gonna have to ask Smitty. Go ahead. Let me hear what you had to say.
I didn't hate the pick, right? Because I seen what the Saints was doing with Taysom Hill, but I was like, that was way too early for us to take him. We could have took anybody else.
Look,
we needed a wide receiver at that time.
So much more for us to take him right there. But my wife an Alabama fan, so when they took an Alabama player, I was like, oh, this is my way to get in as an Eagle.
There you go.
No, you gotta think. Hold on, Brandon. So why we ain't take a receiver in the 2nd round? Because that's the year we took Jalen Rager in the 1st round.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It is. But here's
that's
what
the year we took Rager in the 1st round and came back. Because remember, that year everybody wanted us to trade up for CeeDee Lamb.
I wanted Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
We just skipped over Justin Jefferson.
I watched the LSU game.
Remember, the Vikings straight laughed at us. They were laughing at us when they made
the Vikings picked Justin Jefferson right after that.
Correct. But check this out, though. It worked out in the long run, though, man. Because I mean,
Hurts now, But look,
if you think about it, it did work out in the long run because we traded Rager to the Minnesota Vikings for a fourth, turned around and used that 4th round pick and traded that, got C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah. So what goes around comes around. Howie does know how to make up stuff when he does make a mistake. Let me just say this though. This is my take on it. At that point, we just came off a season where we decided to give this man 100. You know, we paid Carson Wentz, right? So by paying Carson Wentz, you just want to get players on your team that's going to help your quarterback and the team. And so I thought at the time drafting Jalen Hurts was not the right choice in my mind because I wanted to fill the holes on his team. And at that point, I believed in Carson Wentz because, you know,
I did.
He wasn't that great in 2018, 19, whatever, but he did take, you know, we talk about the Walmart shopper wide receiving core. He took
Greg Ward,
right? You know, so I was on the Wentz wagon at that point.
Me too.
I didn't say Jalen Hurts as the player. Like, I didn't say he was a horrible player. I didn't say he was a great player. I didn't really know much about him besides his like story. You know, won some games in Alabama, left, went to Oklahoma, but I didn't know what he did in Oklahoma at that time. I just knew about the Alabama stuff because you always know who's in the SEC championship, right? All that being said, I'm so glad. That's like that was.
My boss texted me that night because I was working for the government at the time, and my boss texted me. She's like, "I hate that you guys got Jalen Hurts. We wanted him for the Ravens because she's a Ravens fan, and she's a retired lieutenant colonel, and in the army. And she was like, she's like, we wanted Jalen Hurts, and she's like, y'all got him, and I was like, okay, now I got to learn who this guy is. That she was texting me, and I looked at the paper. I'm like, oh, now, okay.
Hold on. She got mad because she wanted Jalen Hurts. They already had Lamar Jackson.
But people just love Jalen though.
I think she was looking. They wanted a legitimate number 2, and that's what she was like. She texted me right away as soon as he got drafted with the Eagles. She's like, we wanted him. I was like, oh, wow, okay.
I thought it was early.
Look, I will say this though.
I thought we were going for that Taysom Hill.
That's exactly. That's how I got on board per se. But again, at the time, all the evidence was pointing to Carson Wentz being our guy. And so at that point, I want to throw the team around him. I will say this though. As soon as the demise happened, like, listen, I was live the whole time. I'm not going to lie. You could go back and watch my draft reaction. Like, bro, there's linebackers on the board. And even linebackers ain't wide receivers, of course. And who knows what, you know, but there's players on the board that could have helped the team in general, not a guy who's going to be on the bench.
I never forget.
But let me say this though. As soon as Wentz started playing horrible in 2020, right? I was an early person of done defending him. I was early on. You gotta bench him. I was calling for the benching before the Packers game, and I was in full support of giving Jalen Hurts the shot. And then when Jalen Hurts did what he did, I've been a supporter since. Now, you will hear videos of me saying last offseason that he has to work on some things, and he did. Like, his completion percentage was low. He did fumble a little bit early in his career. There were things he had to work on, but I've always held the point that I seen flashes. If he gets consistent with it, it could be a problem. I've always said he got the work ethic after learning about the guy that can be. So I did say there's questions there, but I've always been a big time supporter once he took over the helm. But I'm not gonna lie, when he was drafted, I was like, bro, we need to build this team, not be the quarterback factory we always are, you know what I mean? But hey, salute to Howie Rose. We're not giving a bleep what we want.
Hold on. Hey, I know I'm finna leave, right? But I got one thing that I want everybody to hear, right? Just imagine Jalen Hurts with 2 timeouts and 1:20 left in the Super Bowl.
Gay blouses.
Why you do that, man?
You're right.
Why you see, Smitty, you had to do that.
Every day, bro. I expect every day.
But listen, we will say this though. McNabb did throw that ball it did hit LJ Smith's hands before Ronnie Harrison intercepted it. You know what I mean? And we know the famous rule: if it touched your hands, you gotta catch it.
He also had like hit 15 balls in the dirt. That
was a bad game.
You talking about a guy who couldn't do a pass to the flats to his running back, and if it did, it was at their feet.
He was bad at the end. I mean, but still, that was my guy.
Yeah, that was my old job would tell you that was supposed to be the future husband, but oh well. Some girls wearing my ring now. Anyway, but yeah, so I will say,
didn't have it.
But I will say, man, what really got to me was T.O. was the only one on the offensive line to me that showed up for that game, and then you had
only one on offense.
And then on top of that, then I had to listen to we didn't feel a sense of urgency in a championship game, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what are we talking about here?
I think people got to go back and watch that game again.
Greg
it was
Lewis
bad officiating too.
Greg Lewis did have a nice catch.
He did.
A big catch.
Yes, he did.
Over the head. Yep. But I just remember how we crumpled the next year.
Crazy Jones too, man.
I just remember I was sour because I live in Seattle and we played Seattle the next year. And that's when T.O. was hurt. McNabb they kicked T.O. off at the time. McNabb was hurt. The whole team was hurt. I go to the casino and watch the game, right? And boy, these Seahawks fans are on my head. You suck. And I was just sitting there. I've been hating the Seahawks ever since, bro. Like, I've been, and all my Seahawks family that's watching this, hey, you already know what it is. But, that's why next year I'm going to the game. I ain't mean to go off the subject, but I'm going to the game in Seattle next year, and I'm pulling up, and we're going to do it real big. So if anybody comes out from Philly to Seattle, tap in with your boy, man, because, it's going to be real big. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I know one thing. We need to get after Geno because Geno had a good year last year, but I'm sorry, they ain't really played against nobody.
Did they just tag him? They just
yes, sir.
Him, right?
They paid him.
He just got a
3-year
deal.
3-year, 114 or something. Or was it?
Yeah,
something like that. He got 3 years or something.
Car?
He said what now?
He just got a 3-year deal with the Seahawks.
Yes, I thought Geno got the 3-year deal. So I was laughing like, unless you dropped, that's kind of, I don't know.
Yo,
I don't know.
This is sometimes I be thinking salary cap is fake. We all know it's not fake, but how the heck did the Saints be able? Like, it's not that big of a contract, 4 years, $150, but they were over the cap.
Got some cap.
Oh, Derek got 150. Hold on, Derek got
4 years, 150.
What?
For Carr?
For Carr.
Yeah.
How old is he again?
31.
I guess Saints is desperate, bro.
My boy's My boy's a Saints fan. He said, you know what? He was like, you know what? I might have to root for the Broncos. Because my boy's a Saints fan, but he loves Sean Payton too. So he's like, I might have to root for
what's crazy though? Right as of this moment, he the best quarterback in that division.
Matt Stafford, Kyle Murray,
quarterback in the NFC South.
No.
You say he's better than Kyle Murray?
No,
NFC South. Oh, you talking about Derek Carr? I'm sorry.
No, it's the Carolina.
So
it's the best. You don't know who the Carolina quarterback is.
Right now.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay don't got a quarterback. And then what's it called? Falcons.
Falcons.
Damn.
The Falcons are about to get a young stud because the Falcons are early in this draft, right? The Falcons are in the top 10, right?
Hey, actually, while y'all bullshitting, pay attention. Because if the Ravens put the tag on Lamar, the Falcons will go get him. They got the money to go get it and the the draft capital to go get him.
Yeah, but if you put the tag on him, you can't.
But you got to pay the
exclusive tag. You got to put the unexclusive tag, not the exclusive tag.
Yeah, but if they put a tag, they're going to put exclusive.
Man, they just didn't let Lamar walk, man.
Not to Washington, though.
They really need to just let them go because they did this to themselves.
Yeah. Look, that's why we got to get it. We got to pay Hurts on time so there's no bad blood in there. I don't think there will be. I think Howie Roseman got it. You saw him at the combine. My man is chilling. He knows what he's doing. I think he's going to shock us when it comes to some of our free agents, too. I don't think we're going to get them all back, but I do think we'll be happy with the result. That being said, we've been out on this for about an hour and 43 minutes. Shout out to everybody who's still watching on the YouTube side, on the JJAANN side. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. Subscribe. We're going to be dropping videos, every single day almost. These are going to be every single Sunday at 7 o'clock. Sorry about this one. You know, I was busy yesterday. That being said, y'all got any ending thoughts before we get up out of here?
Please sign CJ immediately.
Amen.
I better wake up in the morning. Breaking news: Eagles signed CJ. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say, man.
They can only do the tag. They can sign. They can sign him.
Well, I'm okay. Well, as long as I know he ain't going nowhere, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in the West Coast time, so you guys get away before I do. You guys are 3 hours ahead of me, so
right. I mean, the news comes out the same time, but it'll be earlier for you.
No, I wake up about 5 anyway, on my time. But yeah, you guys get it. You guys are gonna know before me, so I hope I can wake up. Some good news.
Some good news.
Yeah, I'm up every morning. I'm clocked in at work at 5 a.m. in the morning. So,
but salute to y'all though, man.
Yeah, with that being said, shout out to everybody on the panel. Until next time, you know what time it is. We
yes, sir.
out. Peace.
Peace out.